Welcome to a little bit of intellectual anarchy, where we engage in extreme truth, extreme common sense, and diversity of ideas. Hello everyone, my name is James Salazar, and welcome to Intellectual Anarchy. Now, I'm wearing my old world hat today because I was watching The Godfather, and Marlon Brando looks like my grandfather in the movie, or my grandfather looked like Marlon Brando, and I decided to wear a hat today in honor of both of them because I really like that movie, and it has some old world themes in it. And today we're going to talk about old world ideas. You know, when our forefathers created this country, when the people came over here, the tagline was, there was a lot of land, and if you wanted to make your own way in life, you can come here, you work hard at the sweat of your brow, and you can make something of yourself. And not only make something of yourself, you can make something of your own. Where Europe is pretty smart and very little room anywhere in Europe. And they didn't have those opportunities because that land has been touched for thousands of years, and lives were born and died, and cities were made and destroyed. There was very little land. And in the United States, there was too much land before it was the United States. So the marketing's always been, come here, take responsibility for your life, and you can make yourself something great. Now, even those, and it was harder for minorities for sure, absolutely, but people still came. A lot of people came willingly. As we know, there's a lot of people who didn't come willingly. They were taken, and one of America's greatest sins is slavery. But even after those slaves were free, one of the most prosperous times is the communities that they built right after slavery that were self-reliant and independent, and very successful, and had old world values and old world beliefs. Actually, the black community did financially better before the civil rights movement than after, though, and some might say it became more civil after the civil rights movement, but a lot of people don't believe that. People are believing today that civil rights has, and even black people believe that things are just more hidden than ever before. People can't speak their true racism. That's here nor there. That's not where we're going to talk about it. It does have value and have points on both sides of that argument. But when our forefathers created this country, and when they set up the Constitution of the United States, it was to set up the most intelligent societies in human history. And it was going to need to be, because when you came here, there was no infrastructure to help you. There was no safety net. And when our forefathers decided to form our government, it gave all the rights to the people and limited the government. But on the flip side of that, it gave all the responsibility to the people and very few of the government. So you needed to take care of yourself. You needed to think for yourself. This country, though we click in our own religions and our races and our families, it still thrives off of individualism. It still thrives on the individual taking responsibility for their lives. So when our forefathers created the law, the First Amendment, the right to bear, the First Amendment is freedom of speech, right to assembly, freedom of religion for each individual. There was not going to be a state-sponsored religion. Anybody, and many different religions, even at the conception of this country, in the beginning of this country, were all from different religions and different races. There were black people in America before there were slaves. Eventually the slaves came over. There were black people who came over to have a better life. And actually some of those, I know I'm going back to slavery, some of those people were taken from their freedoms and made slaves, even though they were born free in America. Sad thing. Terrible thing. But they all came. And even after slavery, the people who were stolen from Africa, the number that was stolen, I think in the late 70s, immigrants from Africa came in the same number willingly. A nation that stole that people to do hard labor against their will, once it was abolished, people from Africa willingly came to America to live a life there and to pursue the American dream, even though we had a history of stealing their people, because they believed at the very core in the United States of America that if you can take responsibility in your life and you're hardworking, your dreams can come true. You can make something of yourself. You can have something of yourself for yourself. That's how powerful our forefathers created the structure that government should stay out of your way and all the rights are given to you, and so is all the responsibility. It's the American dream, not the American right. Life, liberty, and the pursuit, not the guarantee, of happiness. The guarantee of happiness, you don't need an intelligent society. You just need an intelligent government. And we know through history that an intelligent government is a misnomer, is a myth. It doesn't have the ability to help make people prosper. What it can do, it can solidify people in a certain position and give them means, but they will never prosper. It doesn't know how to teach people to prosper. It can make everybody equally mundane. It can definitely make people equally miserable. We see that through history. So when our forefathers created this country, they tried to create the most intelligent society. And this is one of the ways that if you look at the founding documents and the founding writers, the only way, and I'm going to present it as what we are now to compare what they wanted us to be. They wanted us to be a society that had a preoccupation of fixing themselves. Individualism. Not a preoccupation of trying to fix the world around them and having nobody change. See, that's what's happening today. We have a bunch of people that don't want to make changes. They want to be special for no reason. And they want the rest of the world to change around them to accept them. And this calls for a very ignorant society, where we give into people who are insane, who have bad mental health, a culture that destroys the family. There are consequences, long-ranging consequences to these ideas, but ultimately it needs government to enforce them, and it needs government to take care of them. Because most people say, if you want to believe that, do that, that's fine. Go start a state. That's your stuff over there. I'll keep our stuff over here. But when you try to federally make everybody believe that, try to control what everybody thinks so people can think collectively and not individually, you're going to run into problems. You're going to have to create a dumb society that's willing to follow, and they will be willing to follow if they can depend upon the government for food, for their livelihood, for their businesses, for their marriage, for their identity, for their gender. Well, of course, then government becomes a god, as opposed to having a god and you taking responsibility for your life, and then your family, and then your community. It should not branch from the government down to everyone else. It should come from you to your family, to your community, to your city, to your county, to your state, to your country. That would be the hierarchy. The way we have it now is government, the most important, more powerful things. Let's create thousands of laws to make people think the way we want them to think and do what they want them to do. And then it goes down to a segment of different collectives. Your race, your gender, your religion. Runs a gamut. I can't tell you how many divisions we have in this country. When our forefathers created this country, they tried to create the most intelligent society with a people who had a preoccupation of fixing themselves and not expecting the world to change around them. They had to make themselves better. And as they made themselves better, they made their family better. And as they made their family, and if that family became better, they made their community better. And if they made their community better, they made their state better. And if the state's better, it makes the country better. It all comes from the individual taking responsibility. But we have this like collective ideas that push down onto the other and forcing people to think this one idea for everyone mentality, and that just doesn't work anymore. And we are producing people who can't come out of school reading right now. These people are definitely going to be dependent upon the government to make sure they don't starve. They're going to have the safety nets for them, and they're going to thank the government who made them ignorant and an inability to read for the food that they're giving them. And they'll never vote them out because they're going to have anxiety trying to do something for themselves. So they have to think collectively. They have to believe collectively. It's going to be a hard walk back to try to make our society the most intelligent society. And it has to start with you by becoming the most intelligent person you can be. Now look at intelligent people have intelligent lives. I know a lot of people think they're smart, but they have to have smart outcomes. At the end of the day, they have to have smart outcomes. If you're someone who constantly run into problems, constantly run into financial troubles, constantly run into interpersonal troubles or communications, constantly being divorced, well, my friends, you're not as intelligent as you think you are. Because intelligent people have intelligent results. And the only way you're going to have intelligent results is you take personal responsibility, that you believe and act intelligent, like our forefathers wanted us to do. They wanted you to protect yourself. They wanted you to speak for yourself. They wanted you to have the ability to not to talk. It's a very important ability. Very important ability. Limit that government and you step up. And we can't do it. We can't convince the people. We can't convince the people to be that way anymore. We got to show the people. You got to show why you're better, why your family's better, why your community's better, why your religion's better, why your state is better. Right now, we can see that Florida, as a state, is collecting all the businesses from the over-oppressive states, knows how to run their elections, truly believe in freedom, protecting the family, and making sure the kids in schools are coming out with the ability to read and do math. They are recreating the most intelligent society. And no matter what anybody says, people don't have the outcomes. States don't have the outcome that they want, that they have. Let's get into a commercial. Hey everyone, it's James Salazar with James Salazar Media. If I can just have a moment of your time to talk about some things that I'm doing and some free things I have for you. Let me talk about my Intellectual Anarchy show, where we engage in extreme truth, extreme common sense, and diversity of ideas, where we talk about philosophy, religion, and politics, because I think they're inseparable from having a successful life. We also have the Brightburn YouTube Academy, where we talk about the belief systems and principles in being an entrepreneur. We also have the James Salazar Media podcast, where we talk about pop culture and politics and futurism. Some free things I have for you. We have the Brightburn Society Facebook group, where you come together with people with like-minded goals, where we maximize your illumination by maximizing your human potential. That's free. You just got to join. I also have a free ebook for you called How to Be Great at Everything You Do Blueprint. Just download that. That is free to you. Also, you can check out my coaching services and my speaking services at jamessalazarmedia.com. Everything will be in the show notes of this video. Also, I have a QR code right here. You can take a picture of that and it will link you to everything I have. So that's all I have to say. This is James signing out. Have a good one. Now, I don't know what your political affiliation is. And I don't want to get into what party you're from or anything like that. We're all part of certain collectives that are unavoidable. We're still tribal. But what makes America different is the individualistic mentality that makes people rise to the occasion, that they can break out of their collective and be individually successful, individually brilliant, individually artistic, individually powerful. And a lot of our collectives help us with that, for sure. But it's what separates us. We can't be a collective thinker. Now, if you think about what you believe, and if you can articulate it and talk about it and write about it, and it happens to coincide with a lot of other people who believe the same thing, well, obviously, go ahead, join that collective, because it aligns with your values. But one, you're trying to figure out what you believe, and the other one, they're trying to figure out. They're trying to tell you what to believe. And so going forward, you got to commit that you want to be someone who takes personal responsibility for their life. As you know, I am a life coach. And and let me encourage you to take, no matter what your political affiliation, no matter what your core beliefs are, at the end of the day, you have to take responsibility for your life. You have to take responsibility for your actions. Can you truly say to yourself with honesty, with sincerity, that where you're at now, it is because of the choices you made, good or bad? Because if you're unable to make that clear statement about yourself, then you're not taking full responsibility. you are not truly being intelligent. I know that's harsh, but it's true. You have to take full responsibility for where you are in life today. I do. With all my mishaps, I take full ownership of all of them. I did them. I paid the price for them. And there's nobody else's fault than me. And that's the truth. I know there's so many things that can stop me out there. But I know the person who's most successful at stopping me is me. So, to create the most intelligent society, we have to be preoccupied with fixing ourselves, making the adjustments inside, taking full responsibility and anticipate the future, and work hard, do hard work, have a plan, so many other things that can aid you into becoming the best person you could possibly be. But it starts at taking personal responsibility in your life. Being an individual, trying not to be a collective thinker, but to be an individual thinker. Because if they can deal with you collectively, they don't have to deal with you individually. And your individual desires and thoughts won't ever be addressed. They think they can look at you as a monolithic group, and they only can deal with the very top issues that you're dealing with, whether it's your religion, your race, union, whatever. They still got to address you individually, and you should require that from your representatives of this government. Because we all matter. We're all special. We all have worth. But we must always prove our worth to other people. That's a whole different message altogether. If you need more ideas that come with mindsets and belief systems and taking responsibility for your life, you can start watching the Brightburn YouTube Academy, or join my Facebook group, the Brightburn Society, or go to James Salazar Media and get some life coaching, whatever you need to do. But I just want to come off clear today. Our forefathers wanted to create the most intelligent society because they knew they were going to have to be, because there was going to be no safety net, and you're going to have to take personal responsibility for your lives. And when they came over, they did. And they had an harsh environment came their way. And a lot of people died in the process trying to make a better life for themselves. And we honor those people's sacrifice because it's what paid forward all the way to the rest. The west. Did I say rest? All the way to the west, to the Pacific Ocean. There was a lot of sacrifices made to get there by people who took personal responsibility. So, take what I said to heart, really sink it in. And if you look at our amendments and our Constitution and our Declaration of Independence, you will see our forefather was clearly trying to make the most toughest, most intelligent society in human history. And they did. But we're losing that. We're losing that. Don't be someone who has a preoccupation of having the world change for them, but have a preoccupation of changing yourself. And your little change, your little light will influence other people, and they will make the changes for their lives. And that's how you make change in a society. It starts with one flame, then it burns out. Burns out, burns out. All right, folks, I think I've said enough about this. Thank you for watching Intellectual Anarchy. Have a good one.